and across the world. Keeping you ahead of the curve, let's start with our three top segments. The day tonight, we're going to take you through the anti-delimitation meet that's going to be happening in Tamil Nadu, the biggest meet, possibly all opposition ruled states coming together to object to delimitation, particularly South India congregating. And then our deep dive segment where we're going to take you through the greater Bengaluru governance bill, which has led to huge showdown amongst the civic body. In fact, more importantly, citizens of Bengaluru who wants this struck down. And then finally our viral watch, where we're going to show you the protests that erupted right when Israeli descent Hollywood star Gal Gadot was honored with a Walk of Fame, the star, and you had protests right outside condemning it. We're going to take you through that news, as always, the headlines. Marshals forcefully evict 18 suspended BJP MLAs from Karnataka Assembly for protesting the 4% Muslim reservation bill in government contracts. Assembly has managed to pass that bill amid the chaos. Amit Shah hits out at Stalin on the language issue, says he doesn't have the courage to introduce Tamil translation for medical and engineering courses. Congress government organizes Kaveri Aarti. In fact, the Kaveri River Aarti that's being conducted at the Sankey Tank, Bengaluru's neighborhood Sankey Tank gala show that's being held in Bengaluru. Now, twist in justice, Yashwant Sharma's case. It appears that the Delhi Fire Services Director has said firefighters have not found a single penny while dousing fire at Yashwant's house. The Supreme Court now anyway has ordered a probe. Andhra Pradesh Chief Minister Chandrababu Naidu says only Hindus should be employed at Tirumala Tirupati temple. Aam Aadmi Party announces some key leadership changes. Saurabh Bharadwaj appointed as Delhi State President. Manish Sisodia named the Punjab State Unit Chief. London's Heathrow Airport that's been shut down after fire that caused a power outage. Nearby fire led to nearly 150 flights being diverted. Manipur's Kokomi group has opposed delimitation before the NRC implementation, cites concerns about illegal immigrants. Assam allows 24/7 shop operations in some key cities. Bars and liquor shops are exempted, but certainly sets precedents for the rest of the country. All right, diving straight to our top story here. Karnataka indeed today has created history. Not the kind of history you may like. Karnataka Assembly, the Speaker, has suspended 18 MLAs, opposition MLAs, for 6 long months. The longest suspension that Karnataka Assembly has ever handed out to anyone. It all began with high drama. BJP legislators stormed into the well of the House, shouting slogans there, waving papers and tearing some papers and copies of what they believed was the 4% Muslim reservation bill in government contracts. Only it wasn't. In fact, what they told was mistakenly the finance bill, which was passed right that moment amid all that chaos. Lots of confusion prevailed. The BJP leaders thought first the reservation bill was passed and they began tearing it, and then they realized it was the finance bill, in fact. And amid all that ruckus, you had marshals who marched in because 18 of them were suspended, and they literally dragged out 18 BJP MLAs after their suspension was ordered. Now, right after that, it was an opportunity for the Karnataka government. They passed the Muslim reservation bill. Now, 18 MLAs are not going to be part of the assembly for 6 months, which means they will also miss the assembly proceedings, but also won't be able to be part of standing committee meetings as well for the entire 6-month period. Let's take a listen what the BJP suspended MLAs have to say.
The Speaker has suspended our 18 MLAs. This is totally undemocratic. It is totally undemocratic. My first question is, when your own minister, when the ruling party's senior MLA and a senior minister has demanded probe into honey trap issue, why Chief Minister is hesitating? Why is he hesitating to give it to a probe? Bharatiya Janata Party, we have demanded a CBI investigation or by a judicial inquiry by a sitting High Court judge. This is our demand. But Chief Minister and Home Minister, they have not given any clarity regarding the probe.
Unbecoming of our members to behave like that. They were standing next to the swan and all this. They did everything possible, violated everything possible things in that assembly. So they have been expelled.
So you find it a justified step?
This is just 100% justified.
कांग्रेस पार्टी के हम क्या अपेक्षा कर सकता है, उसको कंटिन्यू किया। आज जो 18 अपना विधायकों को सस्पेंड करके हमने क्या डिमांड किया? हनी ट्रैप छोटा विषय है क्या? छोटा मुद्दा है क्या? सीनियर मिनिस्टर उन्होंने आपादन किया, हनी ट्रैप का ट्रैप में जस्टिस लोग भी है, सीनियर ऑफिसर्स है, विधायक है, मंत्री लोग है, उसको ट्रैप करने के लिए एक नेटवर्क है, उसको पीछे बड़ा आदमी है, ऐसा उन्हें आरोप किया। आरोप करने के बाद जांच करने के लिए आदेश किया है क्या?
It is anti-democratic. There is no democracy in Karnataka, only anarchy. The ministers in government are honey-trapped and allegation is on the government itself. And the chief minister is playing on both the sides. He has intelligence in his command. For last 6 months this is going on. Nothing has been done. He is playing both ways. And when this was asked and put an end to this, to bring pure life, our MLAs have been thrown out. This is totally undemocratic and they have to pay for this.
कर्नाटक में कल एक मंत्री ने बताया है 48 एमएलएस, मंत्री, अधिकारी और ऐसे कई लोगों के हनी ट्रैपिंग हुआ है। और उन्होंने ये भी कहा है मंत्री किया है, ऐसे कहा है। मैं तो ये पूछना चाहता हूँ, ये हनी ट्रैपिंग किया कौन? सरकार के मंत्री और एक मंत्री को क्यों कर रहे हैं? अधिकारियों को क्यों कर रहे हैं? ऑफिसर्स को क्यों कर रहे हैं? अपोजिशन एमएलए को भी किया है, ऐसे बताया गया है, क्यों किया है?
Now giving you a quick glimpse into why BJP is opposing this new Muslim quota bill. The Congress government in Karnataka has introduced a 4% reservation for Muslims under the category 2B for government contracts, anything below 2 crores, and also procurement of goods and services, anything below 1 crore. The BJP is opposing the move, calling this Sarkari Jihad, saying that this is nothing but appeasement politics and the Congress offers Muslims reservation based only on their religion and nothing else, and calling this unconstitutional. Now, taking you through a quick look into what exactly this quota holds right now. The reservation quota broadly across Karnataka and even specifically for the government contracts, SC/ST has 24%, while category 1 has 4%, and category 1 basically includes some of the most backward OBC communities. And then category 2A, that has 15% reservation, and they include primarily moderately backward Hindu communities, and it's a huge section. Lots of communities that are clubbed together in this category. And then there's finally category 2B, that was earlier 10% and now is 14%. Category 2B involves largely Muslims, reserved for Muslims, as Muslims under various studies in Karnataka and across India have been classified as socially and economically backward, many sections of the Muslim community. So the Muslims in this category are under the OBC list, but not based on religion, based on backwardness. The Congress says that this move is aimed at helping economically backward Muslim contractors who have been left out of all these contracts despite them being eligible. They don't get a hold of it. They are being denied and deprived. So many of the Muslim leaders and several contractors who feel that they are credible enough to to work with the government on contracts. They have asked and pleaded the Siddaramaiah regime to give them a certain quota. So 4% quota was granted to them after much persuasion. The BJP has now turned this into a political flashpoint, not just in the state assembly, also the matter has rocked the parliament in Delhi. Now, BJP promises they're going to challenge this in court. Now, speaking of Bengaluru, we're looking at a massive puja that happened at our very own Sankey Tank, the home, literally our neighborhood home tank, as we call it, Sankey Tank, which is so popular among Bengalurians, has now been fully lit up, and a concert of sorts that's happening right there. Even as I speak right now, the event is ongoing. Those are the visuals there. One couldn't have ever imagined Sankey Tank really turning into such a spectacle. So the event here is to pay homage to the revered river Kaveri, which is Karnataka's lifeline. There you go. That's how it looks right now. Kaveri river that flows into the Sankey Tank is being basically appreciated. A puja is being done. So this entire puja is being done drawing inspiration from the Ganga Aarti that happens in Varanasi. And remember, the mastermind, the man who led it and maybe even initiated it, was all D.K. Shivkumar. And this comes in his neighborhood. D.K. Shivkumar stays very much in Sadashiv Nagar. The Sankey Tank is right there. Beautiful lake. Earlier, a lot of worries were that it wasn't preserved and whatnot. Now it's cleaned up well, looking beautiful. And here is a one-of-its-kind puja that's being held. Of course, there were many activists, lake activists, who condemned this, saying, let this tank be alone. Don't disturb it, don't dirty it. But well, it's a one-off event, and this is sacred to many of them, and this is what they've decided to do. The Congress government has now carried out this huge Kaveri Aarti puja. And also this, in fact, coincides with World Water Day. So the government has taken this opportunity now to also promote water conservation. And there you have it, those who are watching. This is huge cultural and spiritual significance that they've brought to the Sankey Tank now. Sacred waters from the Bhagamandala in Kodagu have been ceremoniously brought in for these special rituals today before being distributed as prasada. And we also see that the BWSSB now pushing people to carry out conservation campaigns. 15,000 people we hear have lined up there. They're all part and parcel of this spectacle. So a live orchestra, Suguma Sangeeta performance by singer Ananya Bhatt, all of that is happening even as I speak right now. Priests from Uttar Pradesh were brought in to conduct a 45-minute aarti honoring the revered river Kaveri that sustains nearly 70% of Bengaluru. All right, cutting across hot topic of delimitation. Tamil Nadu government, the DMK, has invited almost every opposition rule state to be part of a big meet that's due to happen in Chennai tomorrow, where they're going to discuss delimitation. Now, 7 states and its leaders, including Odisha, Punjab, Bengal, of course, Karnataka, Telangana, all to be part and parcel of this meeting, where they're going to discuss on a host of issues. Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin, right at the forefront of this meet, has called for joint action committee, all of them to come together to form a committee to oppose what he calls a blatant assault on federalism. He says delimitation is against southern states particularly. They have managed to control their population, and for that they are paying the price by reduced number of representatives in the parliament. Now in this video you see Tamil Nadu Chief Minister M.K. Stalin reiterating the demand for fair delimitation, raising concerns over its impact and exercise. Listen in.
ஃபேர் டீலிமிட்டேஷன் இதுதான் இப்போ பேசு பொருளாக இருக்குது. திமுக ஏன் இதை பேசு பொருளாக ஆக்குச்சுன்னா, 2026 டீலிமிட்டேஷன் கண்டிப்பாக நடந்தே ஆகணும். அப்போது மக்கள் தொகை அடிப்படையில் தொகுதி மறுசீரமைப்பு செஞ்சால் நம்மோட எம்பிக்களுடைய பிரதிநிதித்துவம் பாதிக்கப்படும். இதை உணர்ந்து தான் நம்ம முதல்ல குரல் எழுப்பியிருக்கிறோம். இது எம்பிக்கள் எண்ணிக்கை சார்ந்த பிரச்சனை மட்டும் கிடையாது, நம்ம மாநிலத்துடைய உரிமை சார்ந்த பிரச்சனை. அதனால தான் தமிழ்நாட்டில் இருக்க அனைத்து கட்சிகளையும் அழைச்சி கூட்டம் நடத்தணும்.
All right, and you had a comment coming in from none other than the RSS. RSS chiming in, calling this an attempt by the Tamil Nadu government to create a deliberate north-south divide and to challenge national unity.
When it comes to delimitation, the central government, our Home Minister has, I think he has told in Parliament also, in Coimbatore about 20-25 days back, that it will be held based on the ratio. That is, if some southern state is having some number of Lok Sabha seats today in 544 total number of seats, that ratio will be held as it is when it is expanded. If it is expanded, the whole decision has to be taken by the central government. It's not the space for RSS to say something, how much number, how much ratio, all those things. But as per media reports, I have also read that Home Minister has told the press in Coimbatore the same ratio will be held when it is expanded. But other than this, there are many things, as I said, mostly politically motivated when it comes to, for example, having the symbol of rupee or in a local language or about language. So these things could be addressed.
Right, shifting our focus now to a big bust allegedly at Delhi High Court judge's home. Yashwant Verma, Justice Yashwant Sharma, was condemned after there were allegations that a huge cash pile was found inside his house when the fire broke out inside his residence and the fire tenders reached his home to basically douse the fire. They found this cash pile. Now there's a big twist in the case. The director of Delhi Fire Services, Atul Garg, has claimed that firefighters did not find a single penny while dousing fire at the Justice Verma's official residence. This is what claims are, and this completely contradicts earlier reports that massive stacks of unaccounted for cash was recovered, allegedly discovered after a fire that broke out at the judge's home. Now with Justice Verma, we hear when that incident happened of fire breaking out, he was out of town. His family, in fact, called the fire brigade as soon as fire was reported inside the house premises. What followed, according to initial claims, really shocked us. First responders were said to have stumbled upon large amounts of cash, even capturing pictures and videos targeting, in fact, it suggested that Justice Verma was corrupt. There was a lot of money that was found inside his house, triggered a whole lot of conversation. And it also said immediately right after these reports were out that Justice Verma has been transferred. Now it seems like the whole story has been turned around. Supreme Court has stepped in and the Supreme Court clarifies that yes, we have initiated an inquiry into the fire and the cash incident at his home allegedly, but his transfer has nothing to do with the separate ongoing inquiry into transferring him. Now, meanwhile, in an official statement, you have setting the record straight here, clarifying the proposed transfer is the Supreme Court specifically. If I could play that out for you, that's the quote there of, or rather a formal declaration by the Supreme Court where it says, there's misinformation and rumors being spread with regards to incident at the residence of Justice Yashwant Verma. The proposal for transfer of Mr. Justice Yashwant Verma is independent and separate from the in-house inquiry procedure. So this is a formal presser that the Supreme Court has issued, which sets the record straight. But still, lots of questions now being raised. Now, in the meanwhile, when there was talk about his transfer, the Allahabad High Court Bar Association was quick to respond. They took a bold stand, flatly rejecting Justice Verma's proposed repatriation. So in a letter to the Chief Justice of India, the association made it quite clear that we are not welcoming any tainted judges to our court.
I think that it's time for the Supreme Court to start looking at issues of how the appointment process should take place. That it should be more transparent, appointments should be more carefully done. There's another judge of the Allahabad High Court, as you know, against whom the collegium called him for an explanation and he chose not to. But it sends the wrong signal. That means that a judge can say what he wants to say, and conduct himself in whatever manner he wants to conduct himself, and the collegium will remain silent and not take any proactive action. That also sends a wrong signal to the public at large.
देखिए, आप सब जानते हैं न्यायपालिका कैसे चलती है या न्यायपालिका की ताकत क्या है। डेमोक्रेसी के 3 पार्ट, लेजिस्लेचर है, आप चुन के भेजते हैं, कौन चुनता है? पब्लिक। उसके बाद क्या आता है? एग्जीक्यूटिव। उसी में चुने में से कुछ लोग एग्जीक्यूटिव में आते हैं। और तीसरा पार्ट है न्यायपालिका। न्यायपालिका की ताकत कौन है? पब्लिक। तीनों पूरे इंटायर नेशन जो डेमोक्रेटिक सिस्टम है उसकी ताकत है पब्लिक। अगर पब्लिक का विश्वास न्यायपालिका से हटेगा तो क्या होगा ये खुद आप अंदाज लगा लीजिए, पूरा देश कोलैप्स करके नीचे चला जाएगा।
Judges are expected to be in a, expect a lot of people, trust is there in the functioning of the judiciary. And if this kind of cash is discovered in the residence of a judge, either this is a matter which is almost a week old now, so probably there is no explanation forthcoming from the judge. And if there is no explanation forthcoming, then this has to be taken very seriously. And in my view, transferring is not a solution. Because transferring, if he starts, if he's doing this kind of a thing and if he goes and does it in his parent high court, that really is not a solution.
We really wonder where the truth lies here. Was there cash recovery or not? With two drastically conflicting versions. The spotlight, of course, is now on the in-house probe committee that will be probing into these allegations, and the fire department's internal records will possibly be a telltale. Here we're looking at a revenge that panned out in Pune that's left 4 people killed. Some shocking case that's come to light here. What was initially thought to be a tragic accident has now been confirmed as cold, deliberate murder. A company's minibus that was carrying 14 employees in Pune was set on fire by the own company's employee. In fact, the driver himself, he was the accused. He was driving for the company management and he decided to set this van on fire because his salary was cut by the management. The accused, Janardhan Hambardekar, allegedly planned this attack much in advance, and right on Wednesday morning, as the vehicle approached the Hinjawadi IT park, that's the accused on your screens there, as it approached the Hinjawadi IT park, he lit a cloth soaked in toner and benzene. If we could switch to CCTV footage, I could show you the images there of how, there you have it, that bus there abruptly stops, both highly, where we know that the driver lit a match to a inflammable cloth inside the bus and then quickly jumped out of the bus while the vehicle was moving. And what he did was left the passengers trapped inside and left them to be bearing the brunt of it. They were 4 employees of the Vyoma Graphics were killed, burnt beyond recognition. 10 others were injured. These are people who succumbed, unfortunately. In fact, this is very tragic. What we see here, survivors recounting choking, smoke-locked exits, and absolute panic. The survivors recount. Hambardekar, the accused, has since confessed to the crime. He's told the police that he was pushed to the edge because of a pay cut. Look at that. Those are images there where bodies were trapped. They couldn't exit. They were stuck in that van which was moving and ablaze. Whatever said, he told the police that he was pushed to the edge because of pay cut. None of those who died there were responsible for his salary cut. So no excuses for this twisted act. But also this chilling incident at the same time peels back a darker layer. The emotional fragility and economic pressure that many employees face in the aftermath of salary cuts and job losses that's currently rampant in India.
कल इंजोड़ी में जो हादसा हुआ था, वो हादसा जो बस ड्राइवर है उसने उसको अंजाम दिया है। तहकीकात में ये पता चला है कि उसने उसके जो साथ वाले काम करने वाले उनके साथ में जो उसके वाद विवाद थे उसके चलते हुए ये वारदात को अंजाम दिया है।
There's been a big visa fraud that's been reported in India. US Embassy in India has basically flagged off involving the police in the country, asking them to investigate this massive visa fraud that they've cracked down through their embassies. So what we know is that the Delhi police now has registered a case against 31 people in this large-scale visa fraud racket. The action was taken on a complaint that was filed by the US Embassy in New Delhi's Chanakyapuri on the 27th of February. Accused, including visa agents and applicants who were allegedly involved in forging documents such as bank statements, educational certificates, and employment records to obtain US visas, were allegedly operating from Punjab, Haryana, and other states. The fraudulent activities reportedly took place between May and August 2024. US Embassy has highlighted 21 alleged instances of conspiracy between agents and applicants to cheat the US government. This comes right in time when Trump government now, we're looking at the deadliest crackdown, the harshest perhaps, a crackdown on immigrants, on especially those who may be unlawful and even lawful. We know what the scene is with green card holders. Even though they've got legally their green cards, many of them have been asked to leave. So amidst this crackdown, here we have a visa fraud that's erupted right in the heart of the national capital. The Delhi Embassy of the US has found several visa agents charging applicants anywhere between 1 lakh and 15 lakhs to arrange fake documents. In one such instance that was mentioned by the US Embassy, the agent promised to help the process of visa application for 13 lakh rupees in exchange. Several sections of the BNS has been slapped on those who've been arrested. Further raids continue. All right, we're looking at the United States as it moves forward with cracking down on several immigrants and their deporting. Their drive continues unabated. Here's one such case that came to fore a day ago. The last 24 hours has been quite hectic for this man. You see on your screens there. He's Indian. He's a Georgetown scholar. His name is Badr Khan Suri. And he was detained by the Trump administration over allegations of quote-unquote, spreading Hamas propaganda on social media. So let me tell you, this man here basically has a wife who's of Palestinian descent. He's been researching on war extensively, on peace and diplomacy, etc., as part of his study. And he's put out some messages on social platforms. This the Trump administration has dubbed as promoting Hamas propaganda. So he reached out legally to the US court, and a court in Virginia, Judge Patricia, has basically blocked his deportation. The judge has outrightly said that there has to be legal proceedings, and that will continue. Until then, he cannot be deported. He's an Indian national. He was arrested earlier this week right outside his Virginia home. It sparked a huge legal battle now, and also a lot of talk around free speech in the United States. In a dramatic twist, Trump administration accused this man here of spreading lots of lies, etc., and basically pushing Palestine propaganda within the country. As I told you, he's an Indian citizen. His detention has sparked now outrage in several universities as well. Many civil rights groups have accused Trump administration of silencing dissent. This comes amid growing protests against US military support and aid to Israel at this point. Now, while Russia has agreed for temporary ceasefire, it's also issued a stern warning to Ukraine. Let me take you through. Ukrainians living in Russia and occupied Ukrainian territories must by September 10th or regulate their legal status. This comes under a decree signed by the President Vladimir Putin, further cementing Moscow's control over occupied regions like Crimea and Donetsk. Experts see this as part of Russia's wider strategy, pushing Ukrainians out, forcing them to accept Russian passports and settling Russian citizens in occupied lands. Kiev, meanwhile, strongly condemning this move, calling it yet another attempt to erase Ukrainian identity in that region. And one of the world's most busiest airports, London Heathrow Airport today, was practically shut down with 120 or 150 flights diverted because of a fire that broke out right in the vicinity. Massive fire. In fact, that completely grounded most flights. Let's take you through exactly what happened there.
Flight schedules around the world were sent into chaos on Friday as Britain's Heathrow Airport was shut after a huge fire at a nearby electrical substation knocked out its power. The blaze also knocked out the area's backup power station, leading to a mass outage at Europe's busiest airport and the world's fifth busiest. Heathrow said it had been due to handle 1,351 flights during the day, flying over 290,000 passengers. Some were left scrambling for alternative travel plans at London's main train stations.
It's my favourite city, but I need to be home.
Heathrow said the airport would be closed until midnight. John Strickland is an independent air transport consultant.
To have it out of action for 24 hours is a massive impact for aviation, massive impact for the UK economy. We see particular impact from long-haul flights which are already on their way to Heathrow and had to divert back to either their points of origin or numerous other airports. So some in the UK, some in Europe, some much further afield.
Industry experts also warned that some passengers forced to land in Europe may have to stay in transit lounges if they lack the visa paperwork to leave the airport. Global flight schedules will also be affected more broadly, as many aircraft will now be out of position. British Airways, the biggest carrier at Heathrow, had 341 flights scheduled to land there on Friday. The chaos hit shares in airlines including BA parent IAG, which dropped over 3% in morning trade. Lufthansa slipped 1.2%, while Air France KLM declined 2%.
All right, on that note, I'm slipping into a short break. We're coming back on the other side, taking you through the debate on the Greater Bengaluru Governance Bill. It seems like huge showdown as citizens have erupted in protest. They plan a full Karnataka Bandh tomorrow, condemning the Congress government in the state for trying to centralize authority over Bengaluru. What it was with BBMP earlier, it seems like will now be under Siddaramaia's control. Taking you and breaking down that story on the other side of a short break. Stay with us.
$2.5 lakh strong legacy and counting. Join the big league with the XUV 700 with celebratory offers up to rupees 75,000.
What does it take to be the greatest in the world? There is one thing which truly sets you apart. Your inner strength. Sodium DMD Reebok, true inner strength.
For an India that's chasing its dreams, this is the drive of your dreams. Introducing the all-new Skoda Kailak. Own your dream.
Skoda. ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನು ಯೋಚಿಸಬೇಡಿ. ಪ್ರತಿ ತಿಂಗಳು ನಾನು ಕಪಿಲ್ ಚಿಟ್ಸ್ ನಲ್ಲಿ ದುಡ್ಡು ಕೂಡಿಟ್ಟಿದ್ದೀನಿ. ಆ ದುಡ್ಡಿಂದ ನೀವು ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕನಸನ್ನ ಈಡೇರಿಸಬಹುದು.
ಕಪಿಲ್ ಚಿಟ್ಸ್ ಇಂದ ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕನಸುಗಳಿಗೆ ಸಾಕಾರ.
Is life transactional by any chance?
Of course. Everything in the creation affects everything else.
I think the existential question that all of us grapple with, that who am I?
From being somebody to becoming nobody is the first step in enlightenment.
Our identity in the life that we carry is primarily with the work that we do.
I would say you are just nothing but quantum energy.
I fail to understand that why do we have to have so many religions?
Religion has its own value. When they are lonely, when they feel depressed, they need a place to go to. And that is how religion is still valid, I would say.
What is your assessment for a country over the last 77 years?
We have the talents. We need to take care of the mental health and emotional well-being of our people.
AI is going to be any risk for the society?
It depends on the user. You can use it for good or you can use to harm the society.
I'm feeling extremely blessed. I am sitting across the table with you. That itself tells me that I might have done a lot of things correct in my life. This is a rare privilege for me, Gurudev.
Watch Duologue with Barun Das featuring Sri Sri Ravi Shankar at these times on News 9. News 9, English news as it should be.
Welcome back. Our top segment right here on Deep Dive, the Greater Bengaluru Governance Bill that's really raised a lot of concerns. Citizens groups in Bengaluru are now up in arms condemning the Congress government, questioning their intention with this bill. To take you through, as we see, protesters are protesting against this bill that was passed by the Karnataka government on March 10th, saying that it was fully rushed into without any public consultation. They fear that this will centralize power in an unelected body. Basically, the power that was held by the BBMP earlier will now come completely under the Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. Now, this, according to them, will override all local voices. Local representation like corporators, councils, all of that will be completely overlooked and overstepped, and the government will entirely have a decision-making capacity and power over Bengaluru, which is, according to many of them, a cash cow. So the intention of the government is now being raised here. The bill proposes splitting Bengaluru into 7 municipal corporations under the new 3-tier system. 1, the Greater Bengaluru Authority at the top includes the BDA, BWSSB, BMTC, BESCOM and the police, etc. Second, multiple city corporations in the middle can levy taxes and cess. Third, ward committees at the grassroots, and the Congress government arguing that Bengaluru is too large, that is 786 square kilometers, for one mayor and commissioner to handle the entire works of it. And basically, they are stepping in only to streamline and be more efficient in handling Bengaluru, like, for example, garbage crisis or infrastructure development, road issues. Now, earlier that the BBMP would carry out, it will be the BBMP, but it will entirely come. BBMP was an independent body, largely. It will now fully come under the Chief Minister. But the opposition parties and the citizens particularly opposing this, saying that this is nothing but power grab by the state that bypasses elected corporators. GBA, they say, will have sweeping control without accountability. Citizens were not consulted on major structural changes. This is what the concerns are. Joining me now to weigh in on this a little more is Bengaluru's face, an actor himself and a proud Bengalurian, Prakash Belawadi. Thanks very much, sir, for speaking right here on News 9 on this very important issue. Also, Katyayani Chamaraj, Executive Trustee of Civic Bengaluru, also joins us. Let me start with Prakash Belawadi. Sir, your take on the Greater Bengaluru Governance Bill. Why do you oppose it? What exactly is the reservation you have with it? Because we hear that the government wants to streamline work and better it in Bengaluru. Why are you opposing?
That people who get elected elsewhere, not in Bangalore city or any of its wards or legislative assembly constituencies, tend to be in charge of this city. They're really not even citizen stakeholders in that sense. And to not allow the city to elect its own representatives at the ward level, to make decisions for its growth or management at the ward level in consultation with experts, and to have an empowered mayor who can sanction this, and we will use the resources that the city itself generates to make these projects happen. That has always been observed in the breach. The BBMP that existed before, as you rightly asked in your first question, was a useless BBMP. But that was useless because that was the BBMP that the state had made. Successive governments had made. So, if they fail to score and they say, see, we have not scored well at all, so can we be made the captain of the team? What the hell does that mean? So that is the first objection, that the city should be managed by a representative elected by citizens here.
Right. Mr. Belawadi, you also did mention, when I spoke to you about how Rahul Gandhi had promised that this would be the setup, that there will be councillors governing it, there will be a mayor whose tenure will be increased to 5 years, but it seems to have been the opposite done by the same Congress government.
Where Rahul Gandhi ji has promised, when they win the elections, will have an empowered mayor who has a full 5-year term, and the city will be actually managed by the elected councillors. And this is in complete breach and flying in the face not only of the mandate that, that the 74th Amendment gives on behalf of the citizens to the government, but it also flies in the face of the promise made by their leader, Sri Rahul Gandhi.
Let me bring in Katyayani on this. Ms. Katyayani, what more are the fears here? We know that there are several wards or areas in Bengaluru that may need more attention than one. If the government, which is ideally, they have their ear and feet and eyes on the ground, so if they promise to streamline this and work better for certain areas that may need more help, what's the opposition here? If you could take us through the nitty-gritties of this bill.
So you see, Mr. Balwadi very rightly mentioned the 74th Constitutional Amendment. Now that has been in place for 32 years now, but none of its provisions have been effectively implemented. So what did the 74th Amendment want? It was brought in 1992 because at that time also the local bodies had become weak and ineffective because they did not have constitutional status. And there was a failure to hold regular elections to the local bodies, and there was inadequate devolution of powers and functions to the local bodies. So that was the objective and aim of bringing the 74th Amendment. And when you pass a new law for Bengaluru, do you try to put these aims into practice or do you reverse them again? Now, we had some kind of BBMP Act, and before that the Karnataka Municipal Corporation Act, which did devolve a lot of powers and functions to the local body, respecting the 74th Amendment. But now they are completely reversing it by, instead of devolving powers, they are centralizing the powers. And instead of ensuring that the law makes sure that elections are held every 5 years, they have not given power to the State Election Commission. Now, this was a lacuna even in the earlier Karnataka Municipal Corporations Act and the BBMP Act. What they have done is, instead of giving power to delimit the constituencies and to fix the reservation to the State Election Commission, they have held that power with the state government, so that the state government can go on delaying elections by not conducting the reservation on time, not doing the delimitation on time. The irony is that the State Election Commission had to go to the High Court to get the state to do the delimitation and the reservation in time. So that is why we are seeing now that though regular elections every 5 years is a mandate in the 74th Amendment, we have not had a local council for 4.5 years now.
Okay, so I get your point. There's been a lot of delay on that front, but it's not as if the BBMP worked so efficiently. If they failed, then why are you opposing a more central ownership?
See, what they have done is they did not devolve enough functions to the BBMP. That is why it failed, because the parastatals like the BWSSB, BESCOM and all the other BDA which you mentioned, they were all still accountable to the state government, and instead of being made accountable to the local government BBMP. So that was the basic error when they amended the Karnataka Municipal Corporation Act in 1994. So without devolving the functions, you are saying BBMP is a failure. That is your own fault. So if you had only devolved and made the parastatals accountable to BBMP, these problems wouldn't have arisen. And now also in the 74th Amendment, the very, very important provision is the Metropolitan Planning Committee, which is supposed to plan for Bengaluru at the third tier of government as a local self-government. And you are taking away that power now and handing it over back to the state government. So that
that's what Prakash Balwadi did mention about Bengaluru contributing immensely to Karnataka. Your take on that, Prakash Balwadi, on Bengaluru really being the biggest contributor, and that could be one reason why the government could be eyeing it.
37.4% of the GDP of the state is contributed by Bangalore city. it's not such a great thing because, 14 million people live here. Mangalore, in fact, has a better score, I think, because 5.76% of it does. And, it does not have its per capita, contribution seems to me much greater than that. Evidently, the contribution to the state is from the city, and the neglect of the city is appalling. And it comes because, see, the mayor of the city is beholden to the chief minister of the state. And the chief minister of the state, because he knows where, the golden, the goose that lays the golden egg lives, he will never, whichever chief minister that is, will never hand over power to a city empowered mayor. This is the real issue. Whatever else we talk about, it'll be this. And the tragedy is that because it's an equation of power, neither the BJP, which is a rotten party in Karnataka, nor the JDS, which is a severely compromised, if not an equally rotten party, I would say at least their leaders seem to be wink, wink, hand in glove with this dispensation, the current dispensation.
Right, but your limited point with regards to consultation, that I know is what the larger concern here is, that this bill was introduced so quickly in 3 days is what I heard you say. How can a bill of such nature be introduced in 3 days? What level of consultation did they have?
We have a master plan that was conceived in 2007 that died in 2015. So how did you make these plans without a master plan? Who told you what you must do where? How did you arrive at those conclusions? I'm talking about a bill that is 150 pages odd. In February, 2025, they came in front of the public to the 5 zones of Bengaluru city, some north zone, west zone, east zone, central zone kind of thing. And they, over 3 days, they did what they called a public consultation on such a bill, which involves issues that are legal, issues that are technical. When, the Legislative Assembly takes over 6 months to sit on it, you think in 3 days, citizens can actually arrive at a decision on this. So I'm saying we are not happy with this simply because, and with this I'll conclude, we suspect the intent of the government in this matter.
Thanks very much. I really appreciate the both of you, Katyayani ma'am and Prakash Belwadi. Appreciate your time. Let's just hope the government reconsiders. Shifting our focus here to a problem that could lead to huge health complications, and we're shocked that this hasn't been spoken about enough. Arsenic in our vegetables. That's precisely what the Bihar government has sounded. In fact, Bihar government has acknowledged now the presence of arsenic in vegetables and crops that are grown near Ganga river. Imagine that produce goes across many states in North India. According to the latest report of the state's Public Health Engineering Department, which was recently tabled in the Assembly, 26% of rural wards in 31 districts out of the total 38 in Bihar are affected by arsenic, fluoride and iron contamination that is beyond permissible limit. Deputy Chief Minister of Bihar, Vijay Kumar Sinha, is also holding the agriculture portfolio, and he's confirmed that arsenic levels in certain districts along the Ganga has exceeded prescribed limits. He's also announced that a meeting would be convened with the Public Health Engineering Department, Water Resources Department and the Health Department on the issue. Let's listen in.
भूगर्भीय जल में यदि आर्सेनिक की मात्रा अधिक हो तो इस जल से सिंचाई किए जाने पर आर्सेनिक फसलों और उसके पैदावार तक पहुंच सकता है। विभिन्न फसलों में आर्सेनिक की अनुमान्य मात्रा की सीमा इस प्रकार है। पत्ते वाली सब्जी मेथी बंदा गोभी 0.1 ग्राम पर किलोग्राम, जड़ वाली सब्जी में 0.3, अन्य फसल में 1.0 में इस संबंध में स्वास्थ्य विभाग से विस्तृत जानकारी ली जा रही है। खंड 3 इस संबंध में लोक स्वास्थ्य अभियंत्रण विभाग, स्वास्थ्य विभाग तथा लघु सिंचाई विभाग के साथ विस्तृत विचार विमर्श किया जाएगा।
Now, earlier, the Bihar Economic Survey had highlighted the presence of arsenic in groundwater beyond permissible limits. Now, this may have been found in Bihar, but contamination and contaminated water could be poisoning many other areas, not just Bihar. And your food is really the place that is carrying that contamination right into your body. It's scary for what we hear. The contamination levels are alarming. Let me quickly call in our doctors on the panel here. JPS Dabas, former senior agricultural scientist. We also have Dr. Sanjay Pandey, professor and head community AIMS Patna, joining us. Sanjay Pandey ji, if you can, you're from Patna. This message of arsenic found in vegetables in Bihar has surfaced. What happened? If the government knew about arsenic levels earlier, why has this come to fore only now? And it seems like the detrimental health effects is alarming. They should have cracked down on this much earlier than now.
Yes, the Honorable Deputy Minister of Bihar right now, he has just in your video and also in some media, we have saw that this is the high arsenic level in the water level of the Ganga and the food vegetables which are grown near to the Ganga. Actually, this is the problem in the past, but nowadays this is more as because we are using the pesticides in the higher quantity, and these contaminants which are not being properly recycled and drained into the river water, and this is all important things that are going to contaminate and pollute the groundwater on the earth near this Ganga. And this is one important issue, and it has a various health related effects on the body, and these are the important things, and the research have been done in the past, and still it is the things going on in the many places also. In fact, in our institute also, one research has been planned previously, and it is also in the process. However, the one organization has detected because it has a very important effect, long-term effect on the cancer. It causes, it's one of the important issues of the cancer.
Yeah, and we know the health effects are just serious, and cancer to be one of the top. Dr. Dabas, a quick word from you on contamination of rivers across India. A quick word, and how we as commoners, common citizens, eat those same vegetables without worrying. What can we do to ensure we're not directly taking that arsenic in?
Therefore, arsenic is very high. I think I will advise all the farmers not to grow the root vegetables, root crops, particularly radish and turnip and all those things, because it gets stored in the root and it goes directly to the people and may affect the health adversely. Moreover, the arsenic is very harmful for the plant also, because it also affects the plant growth also, root development also, and photosynthesis also, and leading to low yield or a bad quality of that particular thing. So I will advise, actually, in such locations, we should advise the farmer to go for either a forestry purpose, for forestry, or you can go for floriculture crop you can grow where nobody eats, and or if you have to grow the crop, then try to grow the crop in such a way that where the root is not consumed directly, or leaves are not consumed directly. So that is better. So I will advise the farmer should grow some other crops, alternative crops, not root crops, and particularly the crop which can be directly eaten. Or you can grow all the forestry crops are there, then all of floriculture plants are also there. You can grow those plants, there is no problem. And you can go even for sugarcane cultivation also, where less problem will be there if you are good.
But you advise to thoroughly wash your vegetables before consuming.
Washing will not help. Washing will not help, because it is already in the root crop, in the tissue, and it will go to the person who is eating that particular thing. So that's why I'm advising not to grow root crops, particularly directly.
Okay, so don't consume root crops also, I'd rather. Yeah. Right. Dr. Dabas, thank you very much, as we're short on time. I really appreciate you and Dr. Sanjay to join us, sharing your thoughts on this. All right, let me shift our focus finally to our Viral Watch segment on what's breaking the internet. Nitish Kumar, who seems to be quite happy and wandering while the national anthem was playing. Chief Minister of Bihar, questions being asked whether he is becoming the Joe Biden of India. The opposition raising questions on his mental health and physical health in a video that's now gone viral on the internet. Nitish Kumar, the Chief Minister of Bihar, was seen talking to his chief secretary on stage as the national anthem was playing out at a sports event inauguration. When the chief secretary tried to stop him, the chief minister ignored his intervention, continued that conversation, went on nudging him and whatnot. Nitish Kumar folded his hands to greet those standing in the front also, despite being said and warned that the national anthem is going on. So he went on despite the Bihar Chief Minister and the Leader of Opposition, former Chief Minister and Leader of Opposition Rabri Devi, quick to respond, asking for his immediate resignation, claiming that he's not physically and mentally fit. A quick look on Gal Gadot finally walking, in fact, the honor that she got of the Walk of Fame, a star that was awarded to her, seems like was shrouded in Israeli descent. The Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot, has been vocally supporting the Israeli military right after the October 7th terrorist strike. Gal Gadot has been vocal. She in fact served with the Israeli army as well. She hails from Israel. And here you see, while that honor was given to her, there were several demonstrations that played out that delayed her ceremony itself by about 15 minutes. If you can show that ceremony with shots there, where Gal Gadot receiving that honor, those images there, yeah, there you have it. Congratulations, Gal Gadot. That's the honor that she received. And here you had people there protesting, many of them condemning her for encouraging the Israeli onslaught on Gaza. On that note, we're shutting our show here. Thanks very much for watching. You could log in on our social platforms, #Unmissable with me, Nabila Jamal, right on our News 9 platforms. Thanks very much. Same time, same place on Monday. Have a great weekend.
$2.5 lakh strong legacy and counting. Join the big league with the XUV 700 with celebratory offers up to ₹75,000.
What does it take to be the greatest in the world? There is one thing which truly sets you apart. Your inner strength. Sodium TMT Reebok, true inner strength.
For an India that's chasing its dreams, this is the drive of your dreams. Introducing the all-new Skoda Kailak. Own your dream.
Skoda. ನಮ್ಮ ಅರ್ನಿಂಗ್ಸ್ಗೂ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪೆಂಡಿಚರ್ಗೂ ಹೋಲಿಕೆ ಮಾಡಕ್ಕಾಗಲ್ಲ. ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಸರಿಯಾದ ಸೇವಿಂಗ್ಸ್ ಇರಬೇಕು. ಅದು ಕಪಿಲ್ ಚಿಟ್ ಫಂಡ್ಸ್ ಇಂದಾನೇ ಸಾಧ್ಯ.
ನನ್ನ ಆಯ್ಕೆ ಕಪಿಲ್ ಚಿಟ್ಸ್.
ಕಪಿಲ್ ಚಿಟ್ಸ್, ನಿಮ್ಮ ಕನಸಿನ ಸಾಕಾರ.
Every brand tells a story. And they are the storytellers. The Sutradhars. They present a brand with band, baja and barat to you. They are the Brandwalas.